So, yep, I am back. I am going to elaborate on the concept I was talking about with love. So, here I am. I wanted to elaborate because I feel that it's important to talk about. So, give you guys a few minutes to jump on. I was just on live earlier letting you guys know that I'm going to be off of social media for a while. But before I do, I figured I might as well keep this thing going. I get kind of like a adrenaline rush after I do successfully go on live, pushing past that fear thing again. So then I feel eager to do it again. And so I figured why not go ahead and discuss that topic of love. First and foremost, I think that just as with any other word or emotion or action, we can interpret it in our own way. And so, although someone may, express a form of love, we don't always receive it the same or very well. Hi guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hi Jade, hi Gregory. Hey, I'm at work, just wanted to say hello. Hope you have an awesome day. Thank you, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day as well. Lots and lots and lots of love. Hopefully my thing isn't crooked this time, right? So anyways, the question or description that I put on, I think was like, where is the love? And I asked that question because I want to know, where is your love going? Where are you putting your focus or your attention into? And that'll give you a guidance to where your love's going, where your energy's going. So a lot of us have a deep passion for something, whether it be dance or music or art or speaking or writing, exercising. There's so many different things in this world that we have opportunities to explore, and some things pull us more than others. So someone may be very attracted to bicycle riding or hiking or whatever, or swimming, whereas another person may be much more in tune with their creative writing or painting, or building something. It's so different. So the point of that is to say that we all have very unique and individual desires for a reason. We are not all here to do the same thing. If we were, I think the world would be a lot different, and probably not as enjoyable. The plethora of things that we can do, I think, is what makes it so interesting of an experience here. Now, if we don't go forth and pursue those things, then of course we don't get to, how do you say, we don't get to have that embedded in us. Okay, I'm not that great of a swimmer, so I don't have that kind of signature on me. But nonetheless, we all have things that we love to do, and I think that we should pursue them more. A lot of us hold back in efforts to fit in or conform with society, or do what we are told, or follow the rules, because if not, we're going to not be successful, right? If we don't abide by the things that have been set forth, we're going to fail in life. And I think that now so many more of us are actually becoming aware of the fact that that's not true. We're pursuing our dreams despite the pushback and the opposition from society and what most people think or deem as acceptable. And we're starting to find our own way and create our own path so that we can expand and explore and express ourselves in that unique and beautiful individual way. So don't hesitate, don't fear, don't worry. There are so many opportunities, especially now. I find that people are supporting that rather than the whole stick with the standard and do the whole system thing. We're breaking the system. We're hacking the system in a sense. And so I think it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So placing your focus on that passion and what it is that you truly love to do, I find it to be so important, so prominent in any way that you can. Doctor of Love. Did I put Doctor of Love? What did I put in the description? Where is the love? Yeah, that was my question. Your energy is beautiful. Keep it up. Thank you, Jade. Lots of love and blessings. Where is the love inside your heart? Agreed. Now, can we have a sense of love from our minds? I asked the question because we pull from those two energies, those polarities. We have our mind, and it puts forth a lot of logic. And then we have our hearts, which expresses a lot of emotion, right? And if we're saying that love comes from the heart, which I agree wholeheartedly, that the love is going to come from here. Can we put our minds to that and combine it in some way to make it worth, I guess, so to speak, like when you're expressing your love, didn't you have to bring in your mindset to, because the thing is, they kind of battle each other. A lot of times your mind says one thing and your heart says another thing, and it's like everyone says follow their heart, you know, but you really have to balance the two. You have to find a way to have a union between them. And I think that the mind is what helps bring forth the expression of that love from the heart, is what I guess I'm trying to say. I get kind of rambling at times, so it sounds like it doesn't make sense, even though in my mind it made sense before it came out of my mouth. But thank you. Much love to you too, Vinod. Always sending me so much love. Think smart. Yes. You can think smart. Depends on what your level of thinking is and what you consider smart. But yeah, I feel a lot of love from you guys, a lot of support. That's why I tend to get on here and share as much as I can, because it's appreciated, and I want you guys to know that. As I said in my last live earlier, I don't get to interact with you guys like that to express that appreciation as much. I know you guys see me post a lot. I know I write on my posts and elaborate my feelings and stuff. But for me to actually come up here and verbally, virtually, tell you how much I appreciate you and love you, I think is so important, which is why I'm doing it. And it's something that I have to, again, push through, because I don't like being up here on camera or being looked at or and all that great stuff. So I'm not going to repeat that a million times anymore, because then it just reiterates that energy. But I'm finding more confidence in myself, which is why I'm here again. I'm finding more joy in doing these things, and so I just want you guys to know how much your presence is appreciated and needed, because if not, I would have no purpose up here. I would have no reason to be on social media. I stopped using social media for personal reasons about 5 years ago. I strictly started sharing quotes, as someone said in my last live. They're like, oh my god, you're a real person. And I'm like, yes. For the first couple years, I did not post a profile picture. I did not show myself. I still to this day have my inkling of insecurities about bringing my personal self to you guys, to the public eye. Because at the end of the day, I find that like so many of you, and I love you dearly, But so many of you have still that surface attraction to me. And again, I appreciate that. You find me beautiful and admire my beauty. But nonetheless, I don't put focus there. I don't care. I really want you to gain knowledge and insight and hear the message that it is that I have to say to you, as opposed to what this vessel is showing. Now, this vessel, this human that I am, is expressing love, is showing you the compassion and love and understanding and whatnot. But a lot of people miss that message because they're so focused on the physical. So I just want to throw that out there as well. But the love is real. I can sense when the love is real. Trust and believe. I sense energies. Hi, Alberto. Hi. How are you doing? Guapa. Namaste. Again, so I looked on your name. Does it mean now? Who commented namaste? Does your name mean now? Is that what it means? Because I saw on your profile that's what's under in the description. I don't know how to read symbols, so I think people generally confuse the two concepts of Roman candle Hollywood. Hot pink love with I've got your back love. Agreed. Jonathan, I totally agree with that. It's pretty funny because I actually had an incident this morning that sort of is upsetting, but nonetheless it is what it is. I'm always trying to be there for people the best I can, like no matter what. I truly stretch myself out as much as I can, but at the end of the day, I've noticed over the past couple of years how draining that can be. And so what I have learned to do is try to balance it, you know, but I have to make sure that I'm good first. And so when I'm not able to be there, people get upset. When I tend to, I don't know if they consider it me cutting them off or what it is, but I go in my solitude. I kind of just focus my energy within. People get offended. And that's when, for me, I can see where the true love is. Because it's like, you were only showing me love because I was doing something for you? Or you were only showing me love because I had my attention focused on you? Or you're only showing me love because it was in your best interest? And see, the people who will unconditionally love me will accept my distance, my solitude, even my attitude if I so have one, because it's not based upon this physical presence. It's deeper than that. And so I have that kind of compassion for everyone else. Unfortunately, it's not always reciprocated. I understand that. I'm not mad. That's the whole point of, like you were saying, like the difference in the type of love. I've got somebody's back no matter what, but I can't sit here and say that I would drain myself anymore for that. I will do the best I can, and I hope that it's appreciated and reciprocated. But we all have got to understand that, you know, we can only do so much, especially as the human beings that we are. We only have so many, you know. I have two hands, right? I can't reach for three things. So I just try my best to balance, but also let everyone know how much I love and appreciate their presence when they're there, and how much I try my best to be there for them if I can be. And my compassion definitely shows, because like I said, I feel bad when I can't be there for someone. Like, I felt bad this morning because I was told last minute to do, like, if I could do something, and I was like, I have to work, you know, just different things. So it is what it is. Namaste. Lots of love. What neurotransmitters give you this emotional response? I'll be honest, I'm not a technical person. I graduated in honors, but that doesn't mean I retained all that information that they try to feed me. So I'm not sure of the technicalities of which transmitters give me emotional response. I wish I did. But to be quite honest, I don't know. Is it true 70% of these neurotransmitters is made by your second brain or gut? That's a good perception or theory. If I were you, I'd definitely dig deeper into it to find that out. One thing I will always tell people is that you will find your answers most prominently within. We search Google, we search the internet, we search for gurus, we look for other people's information. But one thing we have to understand is all those things are outside of us. Do we really need someone to tell us what is good or bad? Or can you feel that? Like maybe that's part of your 70% neurotransmitters. Those majority of my transmitters tell me, you know, this signal is good or this signal is bad, or this feels good or this feels bad, this feels right, this feels wrong. We don't need a book. We don't need a person. We need intuition. We need to tune in. So I think that a lot of our questions could be answered with meditation. Even for myself, I need to do that more often. I have to take heed on my own advice. I realize that we are divine beings having temporary human experience. Agreed. This is all very temporary, illusionary, simulated. I don't think anyone on here is too foreign to that idea, although I think that maybe a whole video on the holographic universe would be interesting. Of how we are in a simulation, and how this whole we're creating our own reality concept has came into play. Because, excuse me, there have been philosophers for hundreds, centuries, I don't know how long. I'm not good with history either. Timeline's all screwed. But there have been philosophers and theories about these things that we are now bringing much more into the forefront. This spiritual stuff is nothing new. It's just the trending of it is new. So it's foreign to people who never tapped into their own energy. But at the end of the day, there's nothing new under the sun. I promise you that. Well, hello there. Hi, Thomas. It means conscious. Okay, so I can call you conscious. I want to call you out, but I never know how to say your name. What language is it in, if you don't mind my asking? They're very smart, Luna. Thank you. Don't worry about people. Most are selfish. Now, this selfish concept, Jesus, someone had commented on one of my memories that I shared, in which I mentioned that we should make it a ritual to love ourselves. And he mentioned that it was a narcissistic point of view of how everyone's becoming selfish with their self-love and their self-indulgence. And while that may be true, I think that only applies to the few who are misusing it. Those of us who are finding love for ourselves and utilizing that as a sense of awareness, I think it's benefiting more than hindering. So when we use the word selfish, you have to understand that it depends on the context that you're using it in. Now, if you're doing something in spite of someone else, then obviously that selfish behavior is a lack of compassion. But if I am showing love and yet holding true to myself and loving myself no matter what, then that's healing for both of us. Because what good is it going to do me if I remove the love from myself and give it all to you? And I'm giving. I've been this way for years, so I'll tell you now. The truth is that shit's draining, okay? And it hurts to not love yourself. It's so painful to realize that you have been neglecting yourself for so long. So that, I think, depends on the context of where it's coming from. You can sense energies, like I was just saying. You can sense when someone is being genuine, right? And I think that's why I receive a lot of love from you guys, because you guys can see that. at the end of the day, my intentions are always good. So when people misconstrue that, I no longer beat myself up about their misunderstanding of me. I used to sit here and bash myself for not doing enough. And like I was saying in my last video, like, I do feel bad. Like, I feel like there is not enough that I can do. But I have come to such a whole place, a whole sense of self, to where I know who I am, and I'm proud of who I am, and I love who I am. And so I'm always going to come from this place in my heart of good intentions. And I hope that it gets received that way. That's how we reciprocate the energy, through that grace, that grateful, presence of existence. Been there, baby love. I've been taking this time of solitude to center and reground my self-love and care. I know, Anna. I know you have. We've been trying to get together soon, and I know that you have been getting yourself grounded, and it's very much needed. Very much needed. Unconditional love, all that is. Yes. That's true love. Now, that's when people talk about love, that's exactly why I always bring up the concept of unconditional love, because that is the only true love that there is. The love that many people think they know is so misunderstood. It's so misunderstood. Imagine the energy being harnessed by your heart chakra. Thank you. I definitely live from my green heart. That's, my heart, the heart chakra, is something that is very prominent within me. I love the feeling from my center. Unconditional love is probably the most misinterpreted energy flanked by ego. Agreed. But I think when you use the word unconditional love and you break that down for its true meaning, it can't be misinterpreted. Unconditional. Regardless of conditions. You see what I'm saying? Like, it does not matter what's going on. Love is there. Love is the foundation. Love is everything. That's basically what I have come to conclude as unconditional love. Now, yeah, love can be misinterpreted in many ways. Anything can be misinterpreted. But it's actually dependent upon, again, who's receiving the energy. They're going to perceive it how they want to, and that's true to them. So it may not be, what's true to one person may not be true to another person. So if I interpret something one way, that's my truth and the meaning it is to me. And then someone else may see it and say, oh, well, this is what I see it as, and this is the truth. And you can't skew it. Nobody's going to be able, you guys can argue about it all day. But the point is to have compassion for understanding. And I think that's where people are lacking, sadly. Okay. I have a long one here. It's mildly depressing when you realize someone isn't going to show the same love in return. Sometimes it's from lack of wanting to, and sometimes the other party just genuinely doesn't know how to show love. Agreed, Jonathan. I was in that predicament. And you can say it's depressing, because it is. It was for me. When I was going through my separation, I was with my ex for almost 8 years. And I was gaining self-love, and by gaining that self-love, it totally tore us apart. Because I wouldn't do the same things that I was doing. I wasn't complying. I wasn't submissive. I've never been really submissive. But nonetheless, I was coming into my own energy. And it really saddened me to realize that it wasn't being reciprocated. The love I was giving was not being reciprocated. I was just drained. And to the point that, obviously, we separated. But what I had came to conclude was that regardless, because again, I have compassion, I have unconditional love, that regardless of what you do, I'm still going to love you. And so I felt blessed throughout that ending of our relationship and our divorce and whatnot, because it was for the best of both of us. it was a sense of relief, that I could be who I wanted to be, that I didn't have to keep draining my energy. And all of us have that choice. It's just hard to make it. I'll be real honest with you. It is so hard to make that choice. At the end of the day, I don't even know how to explain that, but everything happens how it's supposed to. So just trust in the process. And more than just the process, trust yourself. This is something I'm still working on now. When I say trust yourself, I mean you first obviously have to know who you are and love yourself. That's my foundation, my basis. But at this point now I'm learning more. Okay, trust that intuition. I know who I am, I know what I want, I know my desires, and I'm going to stay true to me. And so by making those choices to pursue that path, it keeps flowing. You have to go with the flow, for real. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate your input too. Please don't call me baby. I'm sorry, Eugene. I'm not with that. You about to get blocked, son. The biggest ego trip, if I'm even your friend, the biggest ego trip, getting rid of one ego. Alan Watts. I was talking about Alan Watts earlier. But did I mention his name? I don't know if I mentioned his name, but he was in my mind when I was thinking of the theories and the philosophers from back in the day. I've listened to a lot of Alan Watts videos on YouTube. And he has such a very, very great insight into this whole spirituality thing, the ego trip thing, the universe thing, and how we are creating realities and whatnot. He explains it so precisely. I love his format of speaking. Very, very, very good info with that. Thank you, Conscious. All right, Silver. Politics kept us too busy, and over time we grew apart from the reality of our spiritualism and stopped listening to our foremasters and rebelled against each other as a result because of the politics involved in everything. The spiritual aspect had gotten under us rather than center of us. I totally agree. Silver, you are so on point with that. Thank you so much for sharing. That is so real. Unfortunately, we have been conditioned and conformed. True love is available for God or also for human being. Okay, now this is another name that is not in English where I can read it. I don't understand the symbols, so if you could tell me your name, I would definitely appreciate that. But true love is available for God or also for a human being. I feel that it depends on what you consider God. If you consider yourself only a human being, then I feel like we have a lack of understanding right off the bat. But I think true love is available and open to everybody. As the other video I said, there was a quote that I shared about the fact that lack of love is an illusion. Love is always present. It's always available to you. And once you realize that, then you can tap into it. It's a frequency. Love is a frequency. And we are either close or far from the frequency. And we get to choose where we want to be. Okay? Beautiful smile. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. My intuition gave me this concept of a self-loving ritual. I figured I should do a love spell on myself on Friday night. My intuition told me to send some love to my subconscious since makes the choices 95% of the time. Are you saying to my subconscious since your subconscious makes the choices 95% of the time? Is that what you're saying, Ben? I would agree. I mean, any type of self-love, if you consider a ritual, a spell, or whatever it is, I don't do anything like that. I kind of stay away from the labels and the rituals and stuff like that. I kind of do my own thing. But whatever feels good to you, okay? So if it feels good to you, do it. Especially if it's out of self-love. Once you learn and truly love yourself unconditionally, you now have the ability to love others equally. Agreed, Silver. Very, very much agreed. How we get enlightenment? Is it possible? It's very much possible. Akshay. Is that how you pronounce your name? Akshay. Your question of whether it's possible, anything's possible, truly, honestly. I actually just heard something my daughter was watching, and it said something about making the impossible inevitable. Okay, and I think that that's what we're kind of in the process of doing. We are trying to bring forth this unity and love, and rather than saying, oh, it's possible, we can grab it, we can reach it, we can do it, it's about making it so important that there's no way it can't happen. You see what I'm saying? So of course it is possible. Absolutely. Anything is possible. If you seek true enlightenment, though, my suggestion is to go within. You can watch a million YouTube videos. I've done that. I've surfed YouTube for years and learned a lot of stuff. But I think that the most beneficial way of tuning in and spirituality and everything, these enlightenment things and awakening processes that everyone keeps speaking on, the meditation process is not as complicated as it seems. And I think people steer away from it because they're scared of themselves. At the end of the day, when you sit in your darkness and you hear the things that come in your mind, there can be a lot of crazy shit going on, for lack of better terms. And the problem is most people are scared of themselves. They will not face themselves. They will continuously deny truths. And unfortunately, that's why we get nowhere. That's exactly why you cannot reach or attain some enlightenment, because you think you have to do something. You think you have to go somewhere further. You have to be somebody else. No. To gain true enlightenment and understanding oneself, you have to dig out that authentic self. So that meditation process that is necessary is a simple sitting in your darkness. Dance with your shadow. Understand who you are, where you came from, why you are who you are. Because at the end of the day, that's the only way. You're not going to get... I'm not going to tap you and give you enlightenment. I'm not going to magically bring forth the energy for you. Because even if I were to send you some type of energy, it's only going to be received if you are ready. So tap into the frequency of self, and that's how you're going to be able to gain enlightenment or seek the truth of what it is that you're trying to do. Right, where was I at? You said trust your intuition. Isn't it possible that people can store data in your subconscious, therefore altering your intuition? Yes, Ben. Actually, I was just having that conversation yesterday, because I posted something about the fact that your intuition sees through elusive intent. And someone mentioned the fact that we can be conditioned to even fall for those elusive intents. I've been there. That's very much true, because we think we're following our own choices, but there are so many things that have blocked our true intuition that we don't really have that tune in. But stripping of the ego and those identities that we have placed upon ourselves is how we gain more insight to our true intuition and our authenticity. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. How is a psychedelic awakening different from meditative spiritual awakening? Well, first and foremost, it's forced upon you. Well, because you're putting a drug inside of your body to awaken that state. So the difference is when you meditate, you're doing it naturally. That would be my simple explanation of that. I can fly. Yes, you can. Absolutely. I love your take on things. I thought you only had the fire memes. Very Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. No, I actually I added you to that group recently, because I think I befriended you from a person I'm no longer really friends with, but nonetheless, love and blessings to him anyway. Benjamin was your friend, and he had that group with the memes. And when he shut down that group, I was kind of upset because that was my outlet. Because on my spiritual stuff, I don't share the funny, crazy shit that I share in my group of silly memes. So I have a well balanced character for sure. Thank you so much. We should definitely do these more often. I am. I'm getting comfortable. Thank you so much. What if you have a split personality? Can you talk to yourself? My friend Q actually mentioned split personalities not long ago, in insinuating that we all have split personalities. Can you talk to yourself? You should talk to yourself. That question, I like I said, I think you should talk to yourself because that is how you become self-aware. So many times the thoughts and stuff and distractions that we have in our head are placed upon us from all these outside factors, the radio, the TV, the friends, family. And so that influences our thoughts and our emotions and our actions. But when we sit down in the part of the meditating process, talk to ourselves, ask ourselves the questions, hear and listen, hear the answers that are coming through. That's part of what you would consider a split personality. Sure. Now, I'm glad you asked this, Sean, because this movie that I watched a couple weeks ago or last week, I don't remember, with my daughter, I had mentioned to you guys on a post. It's called Inside Out. And it was about memories and emotions. And it's a kid's movie. It's an animation. But it was so deep on how it explained things. They had Joy. She was the main character. They had, sadness and angry and these different emotions. I think it was about 5 emotions, right? And when they're inside the child's brain, so to speak, or the person's brain, kind of maneuvering depending upon the experiences that are going on. So when the child's speaking to her parent, they're kind of like fighting over the control board, right? They got the control board in front of them, and Joy is the one who's always trying to keep, everything joyful, happy in her realm. But then sadness goes and touches one of the memories, and then it triggers something in that child to think and perceive that memory differently. It's just so deep. Like I want to do that. I don't want to keep going on it because I want to do that in a video in itself. So yes, Inside Out, that movie, I would so recommend it. It's deep on such a micro level, but it's important to understand. If I tap into who I really am, higher self, I can tap into your brain to make you 10 times smarter. Now, I have a question. You considered who you really are your higher self only? Do we consider this human body the lower self or the middle ground? Because I personally have now perceived it differently. I used to think I was trying so hard to tap in so I could reach my higher self and get higher and go higher. But we're not realizing that this spiral goes up and down, right? There's stuff below us. So this isn't the lower self. This is whatever self it is you want it to be. It depends on where you're tapping into your energy. We're multidimensional. Okay? So I think that these levels and shit is really confusing. Excuse my language, but it's just when when the spiritual community is trying to impose that something is better than another thing, it again just baffles me because I don't think we really understand the concept of what the whole purpose of spirituality is, and getting in tune with self and tapping into energy frequencies has nothing to do with ranks or where you are in levels of this understanding. Impossible. is only a word by design to hold us back. By political conspire, other words like perfect also keeps us from being perfect because we are told neither can be attained by design. So, when I hear these types of words, I give them the true design of reality, which is everything already is and already attained. Exactly. Thank you so much. See, this I appreciate you guys so much with the input, because this is why I intended to get on live, so we can have these discussions. I totally agree. These concepts of perfection and even the impossible, like you said, they are ways that are hindering our growth, because at the end of the day, everything already is. It's just a matter of tapping into it. Time is such an illusion, people. Intuition is sometimes confused with anxiety to past trauma. Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate your input, and I totally agree. But as I was speaking on it earlier, is that, you know, once you strip yourself of these identities and these things, these traumatizing experiences that we have attached to ourselves, because see, the thing is, we label ourselves based on those experiences. In this human body, we have put so many labels. It's not even funny. And by doing so, it definitely confuses our gut feelings and our intuition, because it's coming from the subconscious, which is programmed now. Like we're now going through the process of deprogramming, so to speak, or reprogramming, so to speak, because what we're trying to do is tap into our authenticity and become more natural again, get back to our roots, rather than continuously doing this fluke thing, because this is an illusion. This experience is simply an illusion. And so when we attach ourselves to these experiences, it hinders our true intuition. But when we allow ourselves to be our authentic self and be truly where we are, who we are, came from, not those experiences, but I mean like the deep depth of who we are, your intuition will be on point, and you'll know to listen to your intuition. You'll know. And that's what it also comes down and boils down to, what I was speaking on earlier, that you need to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. But again, goes back to also loving yourself, like truly loving yourself. Many of us come from a sense of lack of feeling worthy. And unfortunately, that's part of the bigger trauma, whatever. We're all in a movie, right? We don't feel worthy of anything. I mean, it's just like such a sad epidemic that they have placed on us since day one. I mean, it goes way, way, way back, but I'm not going to get into that. Some people use weed or some type of things for concentration. I think that's what you meant, concentration. Concentration at meditation, it's helpful, or I personally can say I use marijuana to stay on a higher level state at times. I wouldn't say to necessarily meditate, but it does put you in a euphoric state of mind that is closer to the meditative state of mind. So yes, some people will use drugs or other means to get tapped in, so to speak, but I don't think we need anything other than really facing ourselves. At the end of the day, I think that the bigger problem with all of this is that we're not facing the truth. If we were to comfortably and happily and proudly, like, you know, boldly just face ourselves, we wouldn't need anything. It would be good. Wow, you just woke me up. You high? Not right now. Nope. Not at all. I haven't smoked today. In space, there is no higher or lower, up or down. We have only coordinates. We only need to find balance to be where we need to be. Agreed. Okay, I'm getting to the end. Excuse me. Jesus. Okay. There's plants in nature. Hold on. Thoughts on shamanism in the plants in nature, including shamanic breathwork that have been used by shamans since. Um, I think it's something that we're tapping back into, the shamanism thing. Um, Breathing, prana, the sense of breath, wasn't that what you were mentioning? Yes, is a very, very, very good tool to use. I'm not big on following anything, so I couldn't sit here and elaborate on shamanism itself. But simple breathing exercise, I can tell you for sure from experience, can very much help you tap in and get in tune with yourself. Because as you're focusing on this involuntary trait that your body does naturally, and then therefore consciously being aware of it and focusing it in certain directions, for instance to your cells in your body, you begin to tap into the energy of yourself, and it's a great way to cleanse your aura as well if you use visualization techniques with it, which I'll share that another time. But yeah, I think that those tools that they've used thousands of years ago, as you said, to access those altered states of consciousness are very useful and beneficial for sure. There is no such thing as the impossible. That's right, Ben. Tell them. Ayahuasca. I want to try that. I ain't even gonna lie. When I heard about it a few years ago, I was like, I need to go to South Africa. I want to go see what that's about. That experience seems interesting. A lot of people, again, are afraid to face themselves. So I think those kind of experiences are only for the bold. Thanks, madam. It is so helpful for me. You're so welcome. You're most welcome. Lots of love and blessings. It's my pleasure to share information with you guys, which is why I got back on here today, because I got comfortable. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do the video that I intended to do last night about love. And I am very much appreciative of all of you being here and sharing with me your insight, because that's the whole point, is to build off of it. And the more that we can connect and share, I think the better that we can all become aware and therefore have the opportunity to change things by choice, consciousness. You have to be aware first. Breathing is everything. Yes, it is. Notice something. When you're in anxiety, or you are feeling anger, or you are feeling sadness, your breathing tends to get short. Very short. Like you're just like you're catching your breath, right? You got to catch your breath because you're overwhelmed with that negative energy. But when you focus your breath and you are consciously telling yourself to breathe, and you take a long breath, you tell yourself, let's do a little bit deeper this time. You can actually feel your muscles loosening. You can sense the tension lifting, and your body becomes calm. So there's a big difference in the feelings that your body reacts to from your breathing. Absolutely. Very much so. When all labels are dropped, then it is possible to see things as they are. Absolutely. That's why I don't go by labels. I honestly can't stand them. It gives me a cringing feeling. Somebody asked me the other day if I would consider myself a spiritual teacher or something like that. And I don't consider myself anything. I've always been weird about that with the label thing. We just are who we are. I call myself Luna. That's me. That's how you identify me. But who am I really? Not just that name, Luna. No. Or any, I mean, now think about it this way too. There's such thing as energy signatures. So certain things such as names and labels will hold a signature, and you can either identify yourself with it and relate to it, resonate with it, or not. You know, it's totally up to you. But I tend to be more on the no labels at all. I definitely don't resonate with labels very well. Your room looks awesome, by the way. Sorry, off the topic. No worries. Thank you. Another tree of life. I know I showed you my tree of life earlier. This one is black and white. Can I zoom on here? Ooh. So it has animals in it. And, yeah, ever since I got it, I've loved it. I tend to try and keep positive vibes. Thank you. Telecommunication. You're smart. Thank you. Tree of life. Yes. Actually, my friend Q was talking about the tree of life either earlier or yesterday. Sorry, I did get my days confused. My timing, like I never know what day it is. I never know when I saw something or ran into somebody. I'm so off when it comes to time. But in a sense, the reason why is because what I do is I don't live by the chronological clock, however you call it, because I just stopped utilizing that as my foundation of life. I live as much as I can in the present moment. So what time is it now? But yeah, Q had mentioned the tree of life and the way that we are living in a light information realm, so to speak, rather than life. This is definitely not what I would consider the realm of life. There's so much death. Words do have frequency, but most labels don't resonate with the frequency it radiates. Why do you think that is, Silver? It says words do have frequency, but most labels don't resonate with the frequency it radiates. And I think you explained that earlier with the political influence and interruption, so to speak. A word can carry so much crazy energies that has nothing to do with its authenticity, which is essentially bringing it to the awareness of us. We have so many things attached to us spiritually that have nothing to do with our authenticity, which is the whole point of why we are stripping all that shit down, so that we can, reprogram. Sangria is true or false? Only fairy tale. Sangria. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I'm about to hide it. What, sangria, like the drink? I know what that is, but I don't know what sangria, like what it is that you're referencing to as fairy tale. Because you are a timeless being, yes. Does the animals at the bottom of the tree represent the animal kingdom or your animal nature? I don't know. I think that would depend on your interpretation. This particular tree of life, this one has animals all over it, to be honest with you. It's let me zoom in again. I have to move your comments. So there's a snake in there, there's tigers, there's koala, there's birds, all kinds of stuff. So if you're asking whether the ones at the bottom, I mean the tigers are at the bottom, there's all kinds of animals in there. Okay. Alright, the zoom, I'm so not with it. What time is it now? Yes. Oh, he means Shangri-La. Shangri-La. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not familiar with that, so I wouldn't want to give you incorrect information. I only want to speak on what I know, and I can confidently portray to you. I'm a tiger. Let me call my beautiful black queen. Bye. You do that, Ben. Lots of love and blessings, and to her as well. You're the place of Himalaya. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm actually gonna sign off so I can go eat. And I've almost been on here an hour. I honestly just plan to come on here again, like I said, to discuss that wonderful topic of love, so that I can definitely go take my solitude. And I'll feel good about my solitude now, because I didn't just give you the last video and say, I'm dipping out, okay? I came back on here to let you guys know how much you are appreciated and elaborate even more on a level that's probably so many more can understand. And I appreciate so much like everyone's input and the conversations and whatnot. This building, this is exactly the whole point of why I do this, because I want to build and connect with you guys. There are so many of you that have been following me and do follow me from whatever inspiration that I have brought to you, and I want you to know that it is so much reciprocated. I do it for all of us. I'm here for the healing. As one of my things said, I'm here for the healing. It's going to take a lot for us to, go through this process of the, traumatizing factors and markers in life that we have had throughout the centuries. But I'm here for it, okay? And we're going to do it together. And it's going to be beautiful. And I'm happy to be. Horizon by British author James Allen describes it's a mystical, harmonious valley, gently guided from a monastery enclosed in the western end of ground. Okay, and so what you're asking for is the validity of that story, and as I will tell everybody, there is truth to anything for which you seek it. If you feel that it's true, or you believe that it is true, and that it is a real thing, then that's your reality. Now, there are a lot of things that have been imposed upon us as true and as a reality that are not. And so it just takes a little bit more effort or energy, so to speak, to dig deeper, to see whether or not what it is that we believe is true or not, right? So with that, it seems like I'm going to bring this to a close. Silver, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Luna. Peace, love, abundance, appreciation. So much more to you as well. Lots of love and blessings. Namaste, my friends. Stay blessed.